Flight boss, bitch, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we finishing up the energy of the moon being in Pisces, and tomorrow the moon is going to be into Aries. And all of this, people lost in their own imagination and people making up shit is going to be good riddance for that. So that's what you need to know. So it's going to be a square energy. It's no longer going to be a sextile energy because everybody got opportunities to express their imagination in some way, shape, or form. So right now you are seeing people who are in an illusion and people who are in an imagination right now. And by the moon finishing up in Pisces and the sun being in Capricorn, you're actually going to see the finishing up of that energy. So right now everybody's still making up shit right now. People are going to be making up concepts and throwing out feelings and emotions on what they think other people are going through or what they think other people are mad about or something like that. So a lot of that is still going on because remind you, when we was going through the age of Pisces, that's the age of I believe. So right now with the moon being in Pisces, everybody believe how their vibe about what they're receiving externally because the sun is in Capricorn. So we're dealing with crystallization. We're dealing with things that's solid, things that's in front of us right now. So you can only deal with that kind of energy when it comes to making sense out of something, holding on to something, seeing the shape and form of something, seeing how something is built. That's the Capricorn energy. So for the most part, when you jump into the concept of the sun being in Capricorn and the moon being in Pisces, everybody's trying to make sense out of their beliefs. Everybody's trying to make sense out of their feelings and emotions about something. Everybody is trying to make sense out of their imagination, dreams, and also illusions. So right now, everybody is still trying to make sense of their vibe and their emotions and how they feel about other people's stability or other people's way of gaining status or stability in their life or their positioning. So keep that in mind right now. So be aware of everybody who may be getting washed up in the currents that's in your day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to be the energy thrown amongst you at the moment. And you can sit back and be like, okay, these are people right now being washed up by the current, and let me just sit back and observe and ride over that wave. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just giving y'all a perception of how to do this ahead of time because the transits. This is the actual transits that's actually going on. And then tomorrow, we're gonna go live when I break down the moon being in Aries, because for the most part, when the moon be in Aries, everybody is going to be forced to initiate and create new ways of how to see and feel about all the bullshit that people are trying to actually formulate and practicalize right now. And for the most part, there's more going to be a debilitating state because we're dealing with a square. Anytime a planet square another planet, it creates a learning situation. So for the most part, with the sun being in Capricorn and then with the moon going into Aries, they're going to be squaring each other. So for the most part, wants and needs going to have to learn from each other. So everybody wants is still going to want to be seen in a certain way. Want to stabilize their life based upon their business or what they're trying to do. So that's what actually everybody's actions is geared towards. But when the moon go into Aries, everybody's going to be forced to react and respond to creating and initiating new ways of how to see and feel about things. Now that's not backed and supported by any form of structure. That's not backed and supported by any form of time. When you have a new spark of imagination, because that's the Aries fire, the electricity. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a new spark of an imagination, that actually plays out in this realm as an explosion, something that people may shock people or something like that, may create a chaotic circumstance or situation, or just strictly you get up and just do something spontaneous. Now, as far as Earth and Capricorn Earth, this is initiating, creating new ways of how to think and be practical. So this is more trying to see the blueprint and be more calculated, be more cold, be more reserved. You see what I'm saying? Be more collected and make sure that you're building onto something. So they're both into leader positions, but they're trying to lead into two different areas. So for the most part, the moon and the sun is going to clash. So when we get to this aspect right now, everybody is going to have to learn how to take their new ways of seeing and feeling about things and learn how to formulate it, learn how to put it on a schedule, learn how to create a status behind this. And that's going to become very hard because anytime something new comes, is back to supported by the energy signature of unfamiliarity. And earth signs deal with familiarity because it's dealing with routine, practicality, time, scheduling. You won't know about transits or you won't know about a routine unless you understand a form of scheduling and understand a form of pattern. Now, when we talk about Aries fire, that is not back to supported by a form of pattern or routine. That is back to supported by a form of newness, unfamiliarity, trailblazing, new arenas. So they're gonna clash with each other right now. So for the most part, try not to get too far into your way of reacting and responding to things, and try not to go too far far into allowing that to be seen. Be a little bit more calculated into the things that you're reacting and responding to, and then and vice versa. Everything that you see in front of you, kind of understand the behind the scenes realm of it. Remember, fire burns through reality and see the things behind the nature. So you're actually here to do that and react and respond to that energy also. Make sure everything you're seeing that you quote unquote want to call success or a status, make sure you're seeing the behind the scenes realm of it, because you'll be able to observe where it's leading to. Therefore, you won't get lost into where it's at in the present state that it is, and get lost into you thinking that it's a benefit or not. So a lot of these energies and spiritual energies and earthly third dimensional energies is going to go through a clash. Is going to go through a motherfucking clash, so keep that in mind. So right now we're finishing up with the moon being in Pisces, so everybody's still reacting and responding to their own and other people's emotional feelings and vibrations to things, and then based upon what a person is lost in, that's how they're going to try to make sense out of it in your life, you know what I'm saying, based upon the people that's in your life. Or even when you talk about the internet, you know what I'm saying, and people who make cartoons or movies or blogs or vlogs or you know what I'm saying, in the music community and things of that nature, and even people in the studio. This is the energy that's actually going on. People are reacting and responding to their own and other people's emotions, and this is where the Pisces energy a lot of times can make a person wrong at fault, because you could have your own preconception on what you think other people feel like or what you think other people think like, and based upon that, Pisces energy is tapping everybody into the energy of thinking that they could be concerning or discerning or be relative or know how to relate in areas that may not even necessarily be cause for you to be trying to relate in at the moment. So you need to keep that in mind also. You know, the shit go deep when we talk about the moon being in Pisces, and the moon is at its late stages in Pisces right now, so it's like almost outdated, so it's weakened a little bit. So this is why every time a sign get to the 29, a planet get to the 29 degrees of a sign, it's kind of weakened a little bit, and it needs energy from the future sign. So this is where we get to the cusp, because 1-2 degrees of a sign and 29 and 28 degrees of a sign makes a cusp, and the zeros would anchor a complete cusp. But for the most part, this is what let you know is a sign is at its weakened stage, so it may need elemental help from the future sign if it's 29 or 28 degrees, or if it's 1 or 2 degrees, it may need elemental help from the previous sign, the 29 or 28 degrees of a sign, because it's dealing with you're dealing with baby energy, or you're dealing with old age and wheelchair energy. You see what I'm saying? Once you get late in the sign, you're dealing with getting ready to die. Once you're dealing with early in the sign, you're dealing with birth. So for the most part, these are both weakened stage. These are both undeveloped stage, or I ain't gonna say undeveloped for the child, the baby, like 1 or 2 degrees, but then undeveloped. A development that's getting ready to shut down when it gets to 28 and 29 degrees. So for the most part, when we got the moon being there right now, people are still, and then by the moon waxing, people are still reacting and responding to mutable water, being mutable and being able to adapt to your own or other people's ways of dealing with the emotions and feelings. And then here's what Pisces may psych people up to be wrong a lot of times, because you might be too relative or too concerning in an area that you may not necessarily be wise in, and you might just be doing it for the sake of trying to be connected with the collective conscious in some way, shape, or form, or trying to play a God role, because the Pisces energy gives people the God complex. You know what I'm saying? Also. So, you know what I'm saying? You might be thinking you're taking some type of role based upon what you're reacting and responding to, but you have to keep this in mind. The things that you may be involved in based upon your own dreams and imagination may just come out to be an illusion. Especially, you're going to figure that out when the moon going to Aries, and nobody want to be consciously aware of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to actually happen when the moon going to Aries. Soon as somebody try to make somebody feel a certain way, that's when you're going to be looked at as a person that's on some bullshit. With the moon being in Pisces right now, that's all good. It's all good to make people feel connected and to come in some type of way, because it's real transparent, and it's chameleon also. It's chameleon-like. So for the most part, people got access to come in into many different ways, whether it's music, wisdom, knowledge. People got many different ways to come to people and connect them with the collective conscious. So people got all kind of attributes and abilities to come to people and make people feel connected in some type of way, or feel relative, like relatable or something. But when the moon going to Aries, we're not dealing with a relatable energy, especially Aries is ruled by Mars. So for the most part, all this bullshit in your dream and imagination and what you think you're connecting with right now, you need to slow down on that, because when the moon going to Aries, all that may be seen as an illusion, because people are going to be on the path of reacting and responding to, initiating and creating new ways of seeing and feeling about the emotions and feelings that we're receiving, because it's the moon energy. So we have to keep that in mind. These are the actual energies that in the transits that's going to be placed among us right now. So I'm in the middle of natal reading, so that's why I mean I go live tonight. You know what I'm saying? Go back in and dive back in and shit like that. But for the most part, if I do get finished with the amount of natal readings tonight, then I'm actually going to go live tonight and shit like that, so we can chop it up, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. But yeah, flight boss bitch, goddamn air, and the moon is getting ready to go in Aries. So right now, everybody finish reacting and responding to your dreams and imaginations. Finish practicalizing it. Finish making sense out of it. Finish seeing the gems out of that, and then get ready to milk that and get ready to put that into action. And if you're putting it, and when the moon go into Aries, once you put that into action, if you get negative results, you're gonna know whatever that you was accumulating when the part of the movie was in Pisces, aka the moon. You're gonna know whatever you was dreaming and imagining and was trying to accumulate. You're gonna figure out that it was an illusion. Once the moon go into Aries and you start to feel like you need to react and respond to how you see things right now, how you feel about things right now, and once you start to get negative reactions, that's how you're gonna know that you're in a circumstance or a situation where you actually going against the you're actually going, whatever you was in right now was an actual illusion. You see what I'm saying? Right now, nobody's gonna know. Same way when we was in the age of Pisces and the hippie era and things of that nature. Nobody's gonna know what they're involved in right now because the moon is ruled by Neptune, so it brings that illusion onto everybody. So everybody want to bask into their way of expressing emotions and feelings and others and connecting. So we probably got a lot of people getting emotionally tied into other people's issues right now. You know what I'm saying? People may be crying at the moment right now, don't even know why they're crying. So you know what I'm saying? It's just the world is very receptive right now. This is what you need to understand. You might be next to somebody and just feel their emotions and feelings and you might just start tearing up for some strange reason based upon your own emotions and feelings about what you think their emotions and feelings are. You see what I'm saying? So it's just all this misrepresentation of connection energy. But since this is a sextile with the sun being in Capricorn, people are making sense out of these things and people are stabilizing or creating a status off being relative or being relative in some way, shape, or form. So you know what I'm saying? People can utilize the same thing that they're doing with celebrities at the moment, especially for you celebrities and Capricorns. You know what I'm saying? People are utilizing the emotions and feelings of trial and tribulations from others in order to put people in other lights. So this is me explaining to you how people are taking the Pisces energy, aka picking up vibes and emotions and feelings, and then trying to make sense out of it, aka put people into lights and broadcast it, aka 10th house type energy, because the sun is in Capricorn. So you got to be very aware of what conscious energies is going amongst this world right now. You see what I'm saying? Flight boss bitch, goddamn air. Don't get washed up.